Beverly Hills High for racism, discrimination, harassment, and retaliation.
At this school, I've had to deal with a lot of racism.
But at a recent school board meeting, students talked about how scared they were, given what happened outside Bella Ivory's classroom during election week.
And it became utterly impossible to just ignore it. From 8:30 to 2:30 all week, being at school felt like being in a nightmare. What the black students and Miss Bella had to deal with that week had absolutely nothing to do with politics. That week, being stormed, being called the N-word, being shunned, all because you were black, became the normal.
In recent weeks, I have seen racial slurs scrawled across the walls of our bathrooms, hateful rhetorics being spoken by fellow students in the hallways we share, and violent behavior towards Miss Bella and our club.
Bella Ivory also spoke at the board.
When a school allows...
I'm just thinking, like, it's surprising, but it's not surprising, right? Because this is California. This is Beverly Hills. This is supposed to be, you know, upscale and nice. And you have black people in all areas of America, including Beverly Hills. And then they are living the good life and going to school and, you know, trying to do the right thing, but they still are encountering racism. Like, I thought California is supposed to be this liberal place. It's supposed to be, you know, a progressive liberal place where racism supposedly is non-existent. Well, I live in California, and I can tell you racism does exist. It is just it's not under the microscope. It is covert racism that exists in California. It's not like blunt, like it might be in the South or the Midwest when people encounter racists. It's a little different out here. It hides behind laws and penal codes and stuff like that. But, you know, for a person to think like, dang, if you lived in Beverly Hills, that's probably the good life. Well, we see here that they're going through the same thing. They're being terrorized at Beverly Hills High. Okay.
Racism to flourish, children learn the wrong things.
Attorney Brad Gage points to incidents like these at Beverly Hills High School, where students film themselves.
What the?
In this one, the teen shows feces on the floor, then walks over to show a racist comment written on a bathroom wall. Here, two girls posted this video.
Let's take a minute to appreciate how nice, beautiful, and clean our cafeteria looks right now. Now, let's fast forward to lunch.
You can see black students eating in the cafeteria. The girls come back on camera to say,
"This is disgusting. I'm repulsed."
It is clear what it signifies, and that is this cafeteria in their mind is somehow disgusting or dirty simply because there are black people eating there.
See, this is the thing now. It just showed you like actual racial slurs in the restroom. And then you had the two white girls that said the cafeteria was clean because there was basically what they were saying, because there was no one in it, it was clean. And then once lunchtime came, it was black people sitting there. It was repulsive. It was disgusting. Many times when stuff like this happens, you have people that they point to how children are raised. Well, they always do. They always point to how a child is raised, what they're learning at home. I disagree. I feel like this stuff is in them. I feel like it is an inherent feeling or disdain inside that they can tap into against black people. That's how I feel. I feel like it's already built into them to feel how they feel towards black people. Now, whether or not they tap into that feeling, that's a different story, because we know black people work with white people, have, you know, done things and together have made contributions and get along and all of that stuff historically. But I feel like if they want to tap into that dark side, that side that is against black people, it's already in them. It just needs to be activated. So when they talk about when children are racist and it's what they're learning from their parents, I call that BS. I feel, and it's my opinion, that it is already in them. It's inherently in them. Jacob versus Esau. It's inherently ingrained inside of them. And all they have to do is activate it. Now, whether they activate it or not, that's up to them. And so the people that you know that get along with black, the white folks that have, you know, that were abolitionists, that held hands with black people during the civil rights movement, that look out for black people, that are give black people a fair chance. We know they haven't activated it, but the vast majority have tapped into that deep-seated racial hatred that they have inherently for black folks. So that's some BS when you talk about high school kids acting the way they're acting because how they're being raised. I'll give how they're being raised about 30%. The rest is in you. You know right from wrong at a young age. You know what I mean? You know, like when you doing too much, and they was doing too much. I didn't even hear about this story. I mean, of course it's a news story, but I didn't even hear about this. This happened during the election. All right, let me keep going. I don't want to be long-winded.
Is the epitome of racism.
It was just mob of kids, just so many kids outside my door.
On Election Day, a group of
Look at
students
that.
with MAGA hats and a Trump flag roamed down the hallway of Beverly Hills High School.
I'm going to tell you how scary it was.
Teacher Bella Ivory says the group of students tried to enter her classroom where there were several black students.
See, I ain't been in high school in a long time, but something like that could not happen at an inner city school. It couldn't happen at a school. The schools I went to, it could not happen at all. We would, you know, it would be an all-out riot.
Students.
Some of the students were shouting Kamala as they walked down the hallway. The profanity towards our vice president, who is part black, combined with students congregating in front of my classroom, increased my fears and also the students' fears who were locked inside that room with me.
Bella's attorney has filed a formal complaint with the Beverly Hills Unified School District. He plans on filing a lawsuit next.
We allege discrimination, harassment, retaliation, racial comments, physical threats. That's what this lawsuit is all about.
So yeah, like I was just saying, that could not have happened if, you know, this was the inner city. So they're walking through the hallways, yelling out racial slurs, trying to get in the classroom. I don't think it covered this, but in this particular news clip, but they were in class and the black students were afraid, and the teacher was saying, I'm not going to open the door. They're not going to get in. They were trying to get into the classroom. And so the school is like, oh, we try to make sure everything is fair and all of that. You know, the same mission statement that they say. But this is something that is cultural. This is something that is just like when we talk about police officers, right? It's a cultural thing where they're protected. Things don't get done how they're supposed to get done. And then once again, a police officer ends up doing something again. You know what I mean? Because it's the culture. So that's the same with these schools. When these schools be having this type of culture, it's because of the administration and those people at the high ups, those you know, the school supervisors and all of that stuff in the district. They are a part of the problem because they don't want to call out their people.